here. This is my second time in Singapore. I really like it here. I think there's a huge diversity of people, and it just makes it really, really fun. Everybody that I talk to seems to be doing 3 different things with food and with just kind of goes all over the place. I am Tim. This is me. I'm an avid toothbrusher. And you might know me from some of my online things. You might have seen me from some of the previous events today. So I'm a tinkerer, tuner, tamperer. I just like to make stuff. I'm not really big on titles, but I'm an engineer, I guess at heart, a bit of a designer, a bit of everything, really. Like all of us. Yeah, so you might have seen me on the first day where we won the family feud, the JavaScript family feud. You might have noticed that our team got absolutely no correct technical questions, but we were very, very good at guessing how much coffee everybody drinks. You might have seen me at Code in the Dark, which was really awesome on a couple of nights ago. It was really fun. I've never actually seen that before, people kind of coding without being able to look at what they're making and just see the results. It was a really, really fun event with Justin organizing that. And I was standing in as an MC. Yeah, maybe you know me from some of my online things, or maybe you can get to know me through these online things. I was MCing at JSConf.Asia just late last year, and I kind of released a bunch of things just for a kind of party pack. Obnoxious.css is an example of one of these. I kind of wanted to do a take on animate CSS, but I wanted to do kind of obnoxious animations. Obnoxious animations are really, really fun to make. They kind of go really big. They kind of get up in your face. And this is really what you need to grab the attention of your users for all of your websites. You know, it's phenomenal. I made this website 4 or 5 years ago, the Useless Web. You will click on this please button, and it will take you to other kind of random websites that are very weird and arty online. Eel Slap is an example of something like that. This whole website just exists, so you can kind of slap people with eels. It's phenomenal. Who made that? It doesn't make any sense. This is a library that I made a couple of years ago, Elevator.js. You kind of scroll to the bottom of the page, and there's one of those back to the top buttons that everybody always kind of sees. Provides you a nice, enjoyable, smooth scrolling to the top experience. Last year again, JSConf, I put out some Helvetica. I opened up the Helvetica font file in FontForge and messed around with all the kerning and made it really ugly and messy. And you can install it on your friend's machine, and it kind of replaces the whole system Helvetica font. And it's just weird enough that, you know, if I put it on my mom's computer, she thinks that it's weird, but she lives with it, and you have, you know, it's a frustrating thing. You know, later on, someone will say, oh, you know, all these websites have looked really weird lately. Oh, whoops, forgot that I put that on there. Again, I released this Office Simulator Slack bot. We had a great talk up here about bots before, which was really cool. This Slack bot kind of simulates the mundane Office messages that you'll get every now and then. You know, whoever left yogurt in the fridge, you got to get it out of there, and all that kind of business. Don't forget, you know, the passive-aggressive. Don't forget our ergonomics lunch later on today. That's Office Life. Maybe you've seen some of my more serious things. These GitHub corners are all around the internet. You kind of hover the thing, and it gives you a little wave. It's nicer than those regular fork me buttons. It's a fun little project to make because you kind of see it all over the place. Maybe you've seen my LinkedIn profile full of dog pictures. If you don't, you can connect with me on LinkedIn, and you can have dog pictures daily. It's really, really fun. Look at these top-notch analytics over here. Yeah, so that's me. If you've ever seen me speak before, you're going to kind of realize that this talk topic is the same talk that I've been doing for a while now. And I just thought I would just go straight up front and tell you what the goals are and what I want. The point that I want to make to everybody before we even go. And that's to kind of look at what inspires you and look at what gets you excited, and not just kind of on a web perspective, but on a kind of much grander scale. I want you to realize that you can kind of follow your feelings with your ideas, and you can chase them down to the end, and you can see where it takes you. And it doesn't have to be big, it doesn't have to be small, you can just kind of get into it. I want you to kind of embrace the weird a little bit. You know, just because you're building something that nobody else can use doesn't mean you should stop building it, because it is going to be a quirky thing, and you're going to learn a lot along the way. It's going to be really, really fun. And so the best way that I've learned to do that is just by showing you a few of my own kind of journeys and my own explorations and where I went with them and what ideas I had and the kind of outcome. And then hopefully you can kind of see that and go, wow, that's really doable. That's something that I can totally get into. So let's do that. Yeah, recently I was at my mum's house in Australia. We're right in the country, beautiful place, sugarcane fields everywhere, beautiful sunsets, and I was sitting in the lounge room. The lounge room's just got kind of a big, comfortable couch, lots of windows, a small TV, and a DVD player. And I found myself really entranced. And I kind of snapped out of it a little bit, and I thought, what was that? What was just happening? And I was looking at, these are the movies that we have. We've got very Australian selection. I was looking at this on the screen, DVD video. And I imagine probably everybody's seen this. And the DVD video, if you haven't seen what it does this. It bounces around the screen. It's a square box. Let's look at that first bounce again. Once more for those in the back. This is where it destroys my hopes, and this is where it destroys my dreams. We can assume, really, that if a hater's going to hate and a potato's going to potate, then a DVD logo will never hit the corner of the screen. And it's so frustrating because you kind of lock onto it and you watch it and you watch it and you watch it. And I talked to a ton of people about this. And it's just, I don't know what it is, some kind of odd human nature that you want it to bounce splat bang in the corner. And I kind of thought to myself, what is actually happening here? Let's look at the math. Let's kind of try to understand it a little bit. Let's put our scientific hats on. So I started to try to dig into this world. And I found this fantastic blog online called The Lost Math Lessons. It was one of those nice little niche-y internet things. It's this high school teacher who kind of comes up with weird ideas for math lessons and writes about them and kind of explains the math. And I didn't think anybody kind of explained the math behind this better than him. So I thought I'd put it up here. So here you would imagine that square is a logo, or maybe a 1 pixel by 1 pixel logo. And it's 16 across and it's 10 high. And we can kind of see the numbers here, and we can kind of draw some conclusions. So it seems to be bouncing on the bottom and the top every 9 squares, every 9 moves. And it seems to be bouncing on the sides every 15. And so we have 16 and 10, but if you minus 1 for the space that the logo actually is, you kind of get that. You get those numbers, 9 and 15, and the total moves it takes to hit onto the corner is 45, which is actually the lowest common multiple of 9 and 15. And so that kind of fits into this formula. The steps that it takes to get to the corner is the lowest common multiple of the width of the screen minus the width of the logo and the height of the screen and the height of the logo. And yeah, we're just going to keep going with this math just for the sake of it. If you put velocity, velocity equals distance over time into that and kind of mix it around a little bit, you get this. I won't go too much, but the time that it takes equals the horizontal time, which is the time that a logo takes to hit one side to the other side, times the lowest common multiple of the things before divided by the width minus the logo width. Stop with the math. I'm going to stop with the math. But using that, I could then calculate, how long is it actually going to take? How long am I going to have to sit here until I get the corner hit that I want? It's like a drug. And then I built let me build a little demo around here so I can look at the different numbers. And it's kind of random because lowest common multiples work that way. So that you'll get some numbers that are really, really small, 122 seconds, that's fantastic. But then you get some that are 3,000 seconds. And it's just the kind of depth and dynamics of the screen. 3,500 seconds, that's like, 50 minutes or something like that. That's egregious. And so I thought, I've come this far, I can't stop. What can I do about this? How can we fix this problem? It's such a huge thing, it's plaguing society. And of course, the initial reaction would be, let me just speed up the logo. Let's just walk into the lounge room. Yeah, there it is. Get that fix. This was the second solution. That's kind of a calm, satisfying result. You think that's one good. Let's get this going on. Just hook it into my veins, But after making these little demos, I kind of had to think to myself, and this is the saying that I'm going to use, at what point am I just eating ants? Last time I was in Singapore, I went to a cocktail bar with Thomas, and they had this ant cocktail. And they got ants, and they put them on a leaf, and then they put them in liquid nitrogen or something like that, and then you kind of eat the ants and drink the drink. And I was definitely intrigued. I had to taste the ant cocktail. But after a while, I was kind of thinking, this is just eating ants. I know what ants taste like now. This is just eating ants. And these demos are a little bit like that. I'm getting a little bit of satisfaction here, but I'm not getting the satisfaction that I would get if it bounced slowly into the corner. So I drew some very technical graphs here. I actually did these yesterday. There's happiness, and it's over time. And this is the one where it just hits the corner all the time. You get a plain base level of happiness. But this is the regular experience in my lounge room. As I watch, my happiness level goes down and down and down and down and down and down and down until I'm rock bottom, really depressed. And then hits the corner, bounces in the other direction, adrenaline, everything goes straight up. And so this is the wasted time in this algorithm. And it's just crazy to think, like, how much human time really goes into this? What's going on? Can I come up with another solution? Can I come up with a better solution? Can I just take that time out of it and just jump straight up into the happiness? And you're like, stop, no, this is how intelligent AIs are made. They're going to take over the world. It starts with the screensaver, and then it is Skynet. But we're not stopping. We're going to keep going. So I built the intelligent screensaver. So it bounces around as normal. But then after a certain amount of time, it hits a point. It goes Super Saiyan, It goes, whoa, wait a second. What's going on? It puts a cast out. Where am I aiming to go? Ooh, that's close. What if the angle is really small, just small enough that a human wouldn't notice it? Yeah, let me just redirect. Let me refocus on that. Bingo. We're in. We hit the corner. We got the happiness. We can just go. We can move on with our lives. I can go outside again. Wow, what? That was so weird. But this is exactly what I'm kind of talking about today. This is a journey. This is something that we've kind of gone on. I've started with something, and I've gone somewhere weird with it in my own time, in the afternoon, a couple of afternoons actually, without any stress, without any real goals. But at the end of the day, you can kind of say, whoa, look at what we made here. I made 4 demos, JavaScript, Canvas, HTML5. I did enough research and enough kind of things here for a small lightning talk or a big talk in front of everybody. Played with the request animation frame that Jake was talking about. Played with cubic and quadratic Beziers to do these curves. I had to look that up. I had to understand how that stuff worked. A lot of line intersection math kind of goes into the one that actually focuses. If the first angle isn't immediate, then we're going to have to see when it does kind of land closer to the thing. And that's a lot. That's a lot for a square bouncing around a screen. And that's a lot of information that I'm going to retain and that I'm going to have at hand in any other kind of situation. And yeah, that's what I'm kind of talking about. I also worked on a white paper. I'm kind of submitting it around, trying to stir people up. I've called it the Screen Savior. And it's a whole writing about reducing the overall time wasted. It's that white paper guff that they give you. I just want the information, but no. The joyous time wasted on, oops, skipping some head. But that's it. That's a lot to produce just from such a small little experiment. I think about balance a lot. And whenever we talk about balance in tech, I think everybody immediately, your head will jump to the work-life balance, which of course we know is important. And when your balance is off, you get exhausted, you get irritated, you get frustrated, you get so tired, and it's just hugely detrimental to your life, of course. But the balance that I think about a little bit more is the kind of inter-project balance. So if we took that red line there and expanded it and looked at the balance within that, this is the area that I find really interesting in tech. I like to use these kind of 2 terms on my scales. Practice, which would be, building things with the knowledge that you have. And then creativity is the part where you're exploring different solutions and you're trying to find different ways to solve these problems. you're using different technologies, you're doing some research. That's the kind of creative side of it. And I think when this gets overflown, and it just becomes maybe all practice, you just come in today and it's like, oh, what am I building? This is what they told me to build. And you don't have the creativity, you get a similar burnout. And I think when you're talking to somebody and they get all antsy and gruff about what framework you're using, oh, this isn't good, this isn't the best, these are the kind of people that tend to have a little bit of an offset balance on the inside. Yeah, I also think a lot about, this guy gets electric shocked. I think a lot about where my mind is going when I'm doing certain things. I sometimes find when I'm doing a project, my brain is thinking, oh, here's another thing that I want to do. Here's another thing that I want to do. Here's another thing that I want to do. And I've got to rein myself in. And similarly down that vein, I have a little bit of a hard time kind of meditating and having like a clear mind. So I thought I'll go on another journey. I'll build something else. I'll do some experimentation, and I'll use myself as the guinea pig. And the kind of thoughts and ideas that were coming into my head of what project should I even do in the first place? You know, a lot of people have trouble just taking that initial step. Oh, I don't have any ideas, but there's so much stuff. Una kind of touched on this yesterday when she said, there's so much more inspiration than just online. You know, don't look at other websites. So yeah, I was kind of looking at myself. I was thinking about menial tasks. I was thinking about things like the screensaver. And then the other kind of dimension that I wanted in this project was what are things that I find captivating? And of course, that menial task, captivating, they're kind of opposites. But can I include them into the same project? Because that's what meditation seems like to me, really. People just kind of zone out into a special place, and they want it, they need it. It's captivating to them. They have benefits to it, but also they're kind of not doing anything. And so, yeah, I kind of went out and looked in search for this project. And I just thought I'd mention briefly this kind of streetlight effect that people sometimes get when they're searching for new projects. The streetlight effect is this kind of idea about a bias that humans have, where the way that it's usually told is this drunk guy has kind of lost his keys on the ground, and he's searching around trying to find them, searching around trying to find them. And a police officer comes and he goes, oh, I've just lost my keys. And the police officer is kind of looking around as well, and they can't find him. And he goes, are you sure you lost them here? And he goes, oh, no, I'm just searching under the streetlight because it's the easiest area to look. Whereas in reality, I think there's so much more out there in the world rather than just kind of going straight to the internet for your ideas. So I was just looking at everyday life, menial but captivating, brushing your teeth. I brush my teeth every day, twice a day, and it's kind of weirdly, I'm into it, you know, I want to do it. You wake up, you eat your breakfast, knives and forks, you switch the light on. And so I thought I'd run with this idea of switches, switching things on. You know, that's a part of meditation in the first place, really. You want to kind of switch on by switching off. So I looked online, I found a few nice kind of designs. CodePen was a really good resource. Switches. I thought, oh, have I done anything with switches before? Oh yeah, I've done a couple of projects. I built this programming simulator that's very, very accurate. Everyone can play at home. I did another one, a trying to fall asleep simulator. Oh, what did I do that today? How much, if I go to sleep right now, I'm going to be like, oh, I was so dumb 5 years ago. You know, this is the going to sleep cycle in my head. I've done things with switches before. I've kind of played with them. What would happen if I put a ton of switches on the screen? And so that's what I thought I would do. I would just kind of make a screen of switches. I just kind of, oh, switch it. Oh, this is kind of nice. Oh, they're going green. Oh, maybe I'll go down here. This is a little bit it's weird. It's captivating. I've started now. I've got to finish. Oh, I filled in this whole square. I'm gonna make everyone stay until originally I had 100 on here, but I thought I'd cut it down for the top. I'm just going to switch. I'll just leave that. It's weird, like you see that reaction, oh, what? You know, this idea totally hooked onto me now. The idea of focusing on something like switches, yeah, that just did it. So I figured, oh, I'm just going to build a bunch of games similar to the switches screen. What other things are captivating? What do I do when I'm bored? What do I do when I'm you know, just laying around or in meetings or something like that? Oh, I doodle a lot. I kind of draw. And the way I tend to draw is either spirals or draw a box and then try to kind of color it in. And then I thought about meditation, of course, the other big angle. There's kind of these Zen gardens, which I guess is what I'm doing now. You know, the monks would do these gardens, and it's just a captivating task for them when they're really just trying to learn to be blank in their mind. So I thought, okay, well, let's make a spiral game. Here's the spiral. When you hover it, I can abolish it. I can get it. Ooh, I went too fast. Got to slow down. Nice and centering. Oh, slow down, I'm nervous in front of everybody. It's like live coding, but live spiraling. It's an e-sport of the future. Yeah, let's give me that. All right, so spirals, awesome. I've got a second game. Again, wow, this is really, I'm enjoying it. Let's do another one. Let's keep going with this. Nature is something, you know, you're out for a walk, you're out having fun. Nature was a perfect inspiration for this project. And I thought, yeah, let's make another game. Let's kind of keep going with this. It's almost like how things in the forest will rot away and they'll slowly break down. Oh, yeah, this is doing it as well. I can go fast, you know, but it's not as rewarding. I'm going to have to start sitting down. I'm going to have to start concentrating to kind of hit all these points off. Oh, I'll do this one. Oh, at least get all the big ones. Oh, no, I'm just going to do it all. Okay. All right. You get the point. And I thought, oh, this is kind of great. Let me just wrap all these games up. Let me put them in a bundle. And so that's exactly what I did. I thought I would build out a little website. I called it the Zen Zone, registered a domain, put it on there. And yeah, so that's it. That's the kind of Zen Zone. You can come in, pick a game that you want to do. Let's do the swirl. Let's do it for 3 minutes. So you can kind of see when you do one, there'll be a second one that will kind of slide in. And you'll get kind of focus out of it. You'll get enjoyment. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. It's like, oh, here's something that I've made from nothing with random ideas that I've kind of just picked up along the way. It kind of provides a little bit of use. It's super nice. You know, I'm stressing out about the talk over here. I can kind of sit and focus myself away and build something just for fun. And yeah, so that's the lesson. It's kind of I just wanted to demonstrate so much that you can just kind of put things together. And not only that is, I've kind of built this whole platform, you know. I've built a whole website experience. I played around with React. I made a bunch of different games. Canvas in React is its whole different thing. Recursion for those crushing balls. The spiral, it turns out, is called an Archimedean spiral, and there's all this kind of math behind it. I just mess things up, put everything on Amazon, you know, do all the domain. It's like, oh, this is a huge bundle of things that I've had to learn and do just to get on that way. And not only that is, I've kind of built a platform to build other things. You know, if you have more kind of weird meditation ideas or anything like that, I can just kind of add them onto the site. So that's kind of what I just want to talk about. I just hopefully give everyone a little bit of food for thought. That's my Twitter, my GitHub. I'll put the Zen Zone is on GitHub, but I'll just open source it later today. Watch out for a tweet. There's my website. You can kind of keep track of my similar kind of musings and creations. Thank you.